You're watching GNN, the summer's hottest and most sunburned gaming news show. This week on the docket, Wilden takes us sky high with some great new Starfield info. Then, Richard has that good Siege arcade mode analysis. After that, Project Supervillain gives us their evil review of Little Nightmares 2. All that this week on GNN. Now off to your 360 degrees of cool host, Richard.
Hello guys, girls, and non-binary pearls.
What?
Hello to all my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. This is Gamingness News, where if you squint really hard, you can try and make out some of the stuff that is in my background. We got a great show coming up this week, and I'm not even going to waste any time. I'm going to throw it right over to Wilden, who is going to bring us the latest update on Bethesda's Starfield. I've been hearing some news coming out about it just a little bit, and I'm curious to see where this leads. Wilden, take it away.
Hey y'all, Wilden here, and we are talking about Starfield this week. That's right, the new big IP coming from Bethesda. Well, it seems that if you wanted it to come to PlayStation, if you weren't quite clear on whether or not it is coming to PlayStation, it seems like it's not. Sorry, yeah, it's not going to be coming to the PS5 from what we're hearing, according to Jeff Grubb over at GamesBeat. Jeff, you know, he's pretty good at figuring out when things might happen or might not happen. This still isn't technically officially confirmed from Microsoft or Bethesda themselves. We'll probably get full confirmation of all of this at E3 in a couple weeks. But according to what we're finding out here, it seems like, yeah, the Starfield's not going to come to the PS5, and they're going to kind of take this approach with their big franchises going forward from Bethesda, and it's going to be only on Xbox and PC. The other big thing is that the game is coming out spring 2022, which is going to be a bit different because usually, at least in the past, some of the Bethesda games have released like in November, later towards the end of the year, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be game of the year next year, but that seems to be what's going to happen. Again, we'll find out for sure at E3, but this is what the way things seem to be going. Now, as a person who's a big Bethesda person but also likes the PlayStation, I'm a little bit torn and disappointed on it, but at the same time, Game Pass is the big thing right now. They're going to be using this game to market Game Pass, and at this point, it's on so many surfaces and so many different places you can play, whether it's PC, Xbox, now even going into mobile. So even for those like me who don't have an Xbox and at least have a PC, or even thinking about maybe I should upgrade Xbox or I should upgrade my PC, you know, and thinking about that thought process, but even if I don't, it's a possibility I could play it on my phone. It wouldn't be the best way to play it, but could be a possibility down the road, you know? Especially for people who don't have the money to buy another system or upgrade the PC. If they just have a PlayStation, then that's the way to go. This is kind of going to be an inevitable sort of thing. We kind of saw the writing on the wall with this, but it is interesting to hear a little bit more of this is actually what's going to be happening. I'm going to be very excited, though, to see new footage of it, because I like space stuff, and I like Bethesda games, and I'm going to still try to support Starfield when that comes out, so I still have to figure out for myself which way I'm going to play Starfield, whether I want to make a PC upgrade commitment, because I don't think my PC right now will be able to handle it, or actually buy an Xbox, maybe, for the first time since the 360. Who the heck knows, guys? But all I know is we're going to find out here shortly, right around E3 time, when Bethesda and Xbox are doing their somewhat sort of conference thing that they're doing, which we'll find more info about soon, I'm sure. But until next time, guys, I'm Wilden, and thanks for watching Gamingness News.
Thank you so much, Wilden. Console exclusivity is a really interesting thing when it comes to the licensing deal that Microsoft made with Bethesda. I'm curious to see how a lot of the other potential exclusives that have been made for Sony platforms, i.e. Deathloop, how long that exclusivity kind of stuff stays, whether it's only 6 months or a year, or if it's really exclusive at all, considering it's going to be probably coming to Games Pass on PC at some point, besides the fact that it's also coming to Steam day and date, but that's just one of the games I care about, specifically coming from Bethesda soon. Next up, we have myself. I'm passing on to myself for a segment that I made, a little editorial about what I would like to see coming up in a certain mode in Rainbow Six Siege. So, past me, go right ahead.
Games.
Christian, let me do this, please.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can do it.
One of us remains, but it's not over.
Go for it, buddy.
I swear, dude.
Richard, please. They're gonna get you.
No.
You're done for.
Seconds left. Our container. 5 seconds to go.
Yes! Yes, Richard.
Year 6, Season 1 of Rainbow Six Siege is close to coming to an end, and while I've already made a speculation video on where things will go and how things might change, something in the game has changed and giving me some thoughts for the future. And this one isn't going to be about talking about new operators, and this isn't going to be talking about new maps or map reworks, and no, this one's not even going to be about theory crafting related to changes or the meta. This video is specifically going to be about the arcade and extra modes of Rainbow Six Siege. In the past, we've seen various small arcadey events come and go. Recently, it was Golden Gun before the most recent event, which I'll talk about in a minute. These don't have to be massive holiday reskins or map reworks or a big Road to SI style map mashup, but instead you have an almost full choice of operators on any map in rotation, and you get stuck in whatever limits it offers you for the game mode. Take Golden Gun, as mentioned previously, you have one-shot kills, there's no prep phase, and you have a limited amount of wall reinforcements, so it's up to you and your team to coordinate a plan with very little starting intel and execute with, in this instance, a gun that shoots one time before reloading and has a very long reload animation. So instead of prioritizing headshots, body shots are now fair game, and you can see it much easier who shot who first, where, why, and how. Extended gunfights and pre-firing have been taken out of the equation entirely, and you have to rely on your timing, your reflexes, your angles, and most importantly, raw aim. These small changes make for an interesting way to see the game. Classic mode was another where every available operator was from the first year only of the game and had weapon attachments and gadgets to match. It gave us a chance to see where Siege has come in the last 5 years since, and was a decently fun distraction from the normal game, which, to be honest, you can kind of get burned out on over time.
It's okay.
This kind of game mode shakes up the standard playstyle of the game and can offer both casuals and high-ranked players a chance to play something very different with its own weird meta, with really no stakes or pressure to perform well. It's an event, it's fun, so have a fun time. At least, that's what I say. And as we finally make it to the event that made me consider making this video, I have to preface this by saying this is some of the most fun and least fun I've ever had in Siege. and one of the game modes that has made me mauled pretty hard, even compared to ranked play. The Apocalypse event is a full map rework of Outback, featuring different scenery and map layout, exclusive weapon and operator skins, and everything you basically see from a regular seasonal or holiday event. The main aim of this game mode is to take or defend the last plant in existence, which, if it's out somewhere in the middle of Australia, it's basically as good as gone anyway. But this game mode itself is basically bomb, but you can move the plant around at any point to tactfully reposition your holding points and trick the attackers into wasting time pushing a site that you're no longer on. There are no reinforcements or prep phases at all, so soft wall play is a must if you want to learn how to play this mode well. And I've been playing this game mode with my buddies almost non-stop, taking breaks pretty much only to launch T-hunts when one of us needs to take a break or use the bathroom or eat. It's not necessarily because we like the game mode that much over the actual game, but it's about the speed in which the matches are finished. There's less planning and time wasting here, so we can jump into the action almost immediately, win or lose the match, reap the renown, and most importantly, move up on the current battle pass. These are integrated challenges in the event this time that tie directly into the battle pass for bonus experience and a faster way to level through it. 4 or 5 basically free battle pass levels just for playing through this event a couple times every couple weeks is huge, and a definite help for one of our team who was stuck at the lower third of the battle pass for a long time, until he basically caught up in the last week. This kind of thing is great. It boosts engagement, it gets playtime up there, and these challenges are refreshed on a 2-week-ish cooldown. So even if you took a break and came back, you'd probably have a bunch of new stuff to do in a couple days anyway. And with less than a week left in the battle pass to go, we are scrambling to get the whole crew to tier 100. And that said, do I like this game mode? I do, yes. And I've been thinking about what that really means after this event is going to be dead and gone. Ubisoft knows that people are playing this event, and they know for a long time that people have been clamoring for custom games with arcade mode options. These files should still be in the game somewhere, even if the skins might not necessarily link up to it, and it isn't that hard to facilitate it in menus. People liked the Wild West Showdown event and the Halloween events from a few years ago, and each of these events is more or less a hit in the community. I mean, hell, even Sugar Fright from last Halloween was really bad for viewership across all platforms, but having something in the game with unlimited respawning and long angles can help people train a little with their aim easier than just running in T-hunts, or at the very least, a little faster. I'd like to see these arcade-style modes put into regular rotation. Every week, every other week, maybe 2 events per month with a gap in between, something to keep us engaged in the game outside of the normally offered content. And I can't be the only one that wants to see something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be balanced well either. It just has to be different and fun. And at least that's what a lot of these events are. And if they're not available in a regular arcade mode on the menu, at least let us create a custom or private game with these modes on so we can keep playing them with our friends after these events have ended. We should be seeing a massive UI shakeup and overhaul in the next couple weeks as we gear towards the middle part of Year 6, and we don't yet know everything that's coming with it. Maybe we could see these game modes added permanently, or maybe Ubisoft will just keep throwing fun experiences our way to shake up the quick play monotony. And if and when that news comes up, I will be reporting on it here for you. We here at Gaming Nest News really would like to see the kind of stuff that you, the audience, can create. If you're trying to be a burgeoning content creator, somebody who's trying to be up and coming, making something, why not make something to submit to the show? And you can submit that at info@nesthq.online. That is info@nesthq.online. And if it is particularly good, or if I find some charm in it as I'm reviewing the footage, it could appear right here, like this next clip.
What's he?
Deploying sensor. They watch from the sky.
It's coming in top of James.
Sensor activated.
We're almost there. One enemy left.
Nice.
Shit. Sorry, dude. Watch this.
In our next segment, we have Project Supervillain giving us a review of Little Nightmares 2, a game that's been in development for quite a little amount of time. The first one was very well received, and I'm interested to see if it still holds up. So, boys, take it away.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for staying tuned in to GNN. We're your hosts for the Project Supervillain News Update. I'm Mark Drifter.
I'm Killboss, and today we are coming at you with a review for Little Nightmares 2. We are going to be just telling you the ins and outs of this game and, giving you the lowdown on it, telling you about our experiences with it, how much we enjoyed it. It was definitely a damn good game and a good time, so we're going to stop wasting yours right now and get into the video. Let's go.
Let's hop into our first echelon of epicness. Okay, so this game released February 11th, and it came out on the PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PC, and Stadia, and it's supposed to be coming out on the PS5 and Xbox Series X later this year. It's also been developed by Tarsier Studios and Supermassive Games, and published by Bandai Namco.
Little Nightmares 2 is a 2.5D horror adventure through a world spawned from your deepest childhood fears. For the second time, you'll be assuming the role of a tiny person lost within this horrifying nightmarish plane, this time as a boy named Mono. With no idea of how or why you've arrived in such a ghoulish place, Little Nightmares 2 will take you on a cryptic journey to discover the source of the terrors that poison this world, and to make a desperate escape from the clutches of the evil surrounding you.
Acting as a direct sequel to the previous game, Little Nightmares 2 retains many of its elements, and a great story is no exception to the rule. A dark and mysterious entity has managed to enslave the populace of Pale City using a malicious transmission, changing anyone exposed to it into mindless monsters. With very few allies, seriously, there's only 6. You will need to make your way through the corrupted city to try and find not only an escape, but the source of the madness that plagues the area. But as you come closer to the answers, you'll uncover truths that are more sinister than anything stalking the streets of the city.
While its story delivers the goods you'd expect, it doesn't necessarily go above and beyond anything that the first game offered. It was awesome, just expected, just, pretty average. Nothing mind-blowing, but definitely well played.
Definitely a 3 out of 5 for the story.
Little Nightmares 2's setting is one of the strongest aspects. The ruined majesty of Pale City constantly looms over you with its twisted structures and decayed streets. The air is wicked in nature and thick with palpable danger. Rain and thunder batter the surroundings, obscuring what's in the shadows, revealing their secret horror with each flash of lightning. Standing above it all, the omnipresent broadcast tower emits its oppressive signal across the cityscape and serves to remind you constantly that evil is never far away.
It's hard to think of any ways in which the setting could be improved. It's exquisitely chilling to wander through. It perfectly encapsulates that feeling of being trapped within a nightmare. This is absolutely the strongest aspect of the game, for sure. At times it gives off of kind of a Silent Hillish vibe. It's got that melancholy locale and surrounding, leaving an intense cloud of gloom hanging over you throughout your playthrough. Even more so when we get into the next category, which is the audio.
So yeah, we're giving the setting a 5 out of 5.
Audio is arguably the most crucial element to the formula of the game. Little Nightmares 2's soundtrack and audio design strives to create impeccably accurate soundscapes, perfectly conveying the tone of the dead world surrounding you. Ominous drones and audio stings keep you on edge throughout. Creaks, cracks, and groans echo throughout empty streets and decayed buildings, and you'll wonder if it's simply the sounds of the environment playing tricks on you, or if the city's sinister denizens are stalking you in the shadows, just out of view. No matter, sooner or later you'll find yourself helplessly immersed in the unrelenting discord of the manic depressive symphony that makes up this game's brilliant audio work.
Do we even need to say any more than that? The audio in Little Nightmares 2 is beyond befitting and damn near perfect. Not much has changed since the OG Little Nightmares in the ways of gameplay. Though small improvements have been made, the same 2.5D style persists in this entry. Pseudo-side-scrolling gameplay is blended with a 3D environment which gives you a full range of movement within the game's spaces. Functional and perfectly serviceable, the only time issues become apparent is when the camera loses its focus on the player, or when your view is obscured by objects in the foreground that the camera cannot see past. Giving the player some freedom to change the camera angle would immensely mitigate these few issues, but perhaps at the cost of artistic integrity.
Besides some minor issues, the gameplay was fine. It just proved to be one of the weaker points of the game, shockingly enough. All the other elements just seem to be much more front and center. It serves its purpose, but nobody would complain if the style changed for the sequel.
Yeah, so that's gonna get a 3 out of 5 from us for the gameplay.
Alright, let's just get this out of the way. Mono is uninteresting at best. The main character merely serves as a vehicle for your own experiences, and rarely do you question his origins or what will become of him. Compare this to Six, who is also featured in this game. Throughout these games, Six continues to be an enigma that begs to be solved, with constant question and revelations revolving around her. However, the real stars here are absolutely the antagonists that seek to end your existence. These terrifying figures are what makes this game live up to its namesake. No doubt you will find their twisted shapes familiar in some way, as these horrifying monstrosities are something that could have well once stalked you throughout your childhood nightmares. It's almost as if the developers sat at a table and shared their childhood fears with one another as inspiration to create such vile and malevolent beings.
Despite the main character being quite lackluster, the rest of the cast makes up for it and then some. They fill the game with an unmistakable personality that distinguishes itself from many other horror titles that are available today, especially in the indie scene.
This part gets a 4 out of 5.
So, in conclusion, Little Nightmares 2 is a horror experience which defines itself through its unique and disturbing characteristics, setting itself apart from other games in its genre with its tone and the frightening accuracy with which it brings to life your childhood fears. We highly recommend not missing out on this game. It's certainly one of a kind.
And with that, we rank it a 7 out of 10. Its few missteps in gameplay and character development of Mono hold them back just by a few points, but it's overall a fantastically chilling experience from beginning to end. And it had to be a 7 out of 10 because a 6 was just too little. But that's all we got for the review here, guys. Stay tuned. The news continues. And I know this isn't really much news, but we like to do this kind of stuff every now and again, so look forward to it happening when we talk about the medium soon.
That's right.
That's
another one we're going to be looking
really good. We beat that on our stream, twitch.tv/ProjectSupervillain. We do a couple of those a week. We appreciate anybody that comes by to hang out. But yeah, stay tuned. We got some more news coming. But that's it for us this week. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Like I said earlier, we are looking for clips and things in order to put into our show. So if you could please submit these things over to info@nesthq.online. Again, nesthq.online. And that address is info@nesthq.online. This is a live show. Sometimes we just make mistakes on these kinds of things. And yeah, we're looking for these clips for you to submit. Please send us some stuff. And I guess in asking that, we have reached the end of our program this week. Thank you so much to all of our contributors, to Wilden for Starfield News, for PSV for submitting their review of Little Nightmares, and of course to me for producing my own segment that we had seen earlier. So tune in next week, same bat time, same bat channel. You can follow our social media stuff over down in the description below, and you can see little hints of it in the corners of the screen, of course. So, yep, I think that is going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the flip.